Jonas's second talk, which he's going to tell us about the SWEDEPAD trial that they're doing in Sweden, and has some similarities, I think, with what we're trying to do here in the UK. So thank you, Jonas.
Yes, so I will present this trial on behalf of the main PI, which is Morten Falkenberg. He's a vascular radiologist and interventional radiologist in Gothenburg, and Joachim Nordanstig, which is a vascular surgeon. So this trial has a lot of similarities to BASIL-3, but there's some differences. This is a register-randomized controlled trial, and I think this is one reason why we could randomize so much patients into it. It's fairly simple, and it builds on the national quality registry. The quality registry in Sweden has been around since 1986, and there's almost complete registration. So we say the best of two words. The cardiologists in Sweden have pioneered this RRCT and done a lot of trials for heart disease. So the aim is to compare the effect of drug-eluting balloons and stents versus only balloon or bare metal stents, and try to evaluate clinical outcomes. In fact, this is two trials with the same study procedures. You start with patients planned for infrainguinal endovascular procedure, and depending on the indication, they go into different studies which will be analyzed separately, but the procedures is the same. So they're all randomized in the registry to drug-eluting technique or non-drug-eluting technique, and the follow-up will be within the registry, 1 month, 1 year, which is the follow-up points in the Swedish registry. Then additional follow-up will be made by the national healthcare registries, and also letters and phone calls up to 5 years. So the study procedures is like this. As soon as you have a guide wire pass, you decide if the most proximal lesion should be treated with stenting or primary PTA, and then you randomize the patients through the registry interface, and then you enter your strategy, stenting or primary PTA, if there's CLI or claudication, and the level of the disease. So it's stratified on this, and then you get the randomization to drug-eluting or non-drug-eluting. If there is multiple lesions, all are treated with the randomized treatment, so you can't mix them. And if you do a non-drug-eluting PTA, you have the insufflation time is the same as for a drug-eluting balloon, so it's comparable. There's also medical treatments prescribed afterwards, all of course on acetylic acid, but we add a bolus of clopidogrel the day of procedure, and then double antiplatelet treatment, routine for 30 days, and prolonged for stenting or subintimal. The endpoints is for critical limb ischemia is the amputation rate and amputation-free survival, and for claudication it's not walking distance, it's quality of life assessed by Vascular Qual 6 at 1 year. And then there is a lot of secondary endpoint which I will not go into detail. Yes, so the follow-up is maybe the limitation or a weakness in the study, because the follow-up is not 100% today. So this will be maybe a problem with an analysis, and a problem with this registry-based study, because there is no central coordinator going out and asking you for providing the follow-up. The inclusion a month ago looks like this, and so close to 2,000 patients for now, the largest trial, I think, and the target would be close to 4,000. The power analysis is based on BASIL 1 for the critical limb ischemia and on other studies for the quality of life from Sweden. Just a slide on recruitment per month is between 40 and 70. And the estimates for when we will close the study, either January 2021 with the current inclusion rate, or a year earlier. And even here we randomize a lot of patients from Södersjukhuset, mainly because we are the second biggest center in Sweden. And you could also look at the proportion of eligible patients recruited into the study. This is an advantage of the Register-Randomized trial, because every patient that you do intervention on, even if you always get the question, should you randomize the patient into SWEDEPAD? And if you answer no, you have to give a reason for why the patient is not randomized. So you will have a total control of all the non-randomized patients. And you could see that it's around 50% or 50-60% which is randomized. Some centers it's better to include almost all of the patients. Yes, I think this was it.